Hey, what's up, everybody? BraedenV Music podcast, Chasing Planes, episode, I think we're on 11 right now? 10, 11? Anyways, I got a special guest today. He's a host of a podcast called The Podcast with Nick and Dylan. He's a close personal friend of mine, a supporter of BraedenV Music. He's helped promote BraedenV Music over the last 2 years. He helped promote my song The Mountain, which came out earlier this year. So I'd like to invite Nick MacKinnon onto the pod for today. And Spivvy, I see you in the chat. We got you for tomorrow. I gotta make sure I break down Spivvy's new
Thank you.
song before I invite
Thank you
him
for
on the
having
pod
me.
to talk about it. Welcome aboard there, Nick.
Thank you, good
Glad
sir.
to have you on the pod.
Awesome.
I gotta give Nick some credit here because he helped me get the idea of my own pod going, kind of thing, by having me on his podcast and kind of showing me
Yeah.
the ropes a bit with his buddy. How's your podcast doing, Nick? You and Dylan still working at it or taking a
Well,
break or what?
we haven't really done an episode in 2 months.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Taking a little break then.
so
Summer
yeah,
break.
just like stuff's going on. Like Dylan has some personal stuff, so just hopefully we get back. I would love to do another episode.
Yeah, yeah. It's always
Other
good to
than
take.
that,
Well, it's summertime anyway. It's always good to take a break,
that's
get
true.
get some stuff. So you have some stories for when you guys get back together, or whatever on it. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
and
what's new? So what's new with you, buddy?
not too much. I just wanted to say that I loved going to the show
Oh yeah,
at
yeah. That
the
was
at Victoria
that was
Park there.
the yeah the music festival at Victoria Park. Yeah,
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming out. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the song you requested.
No, it's all
Unfortunately, I had
right.
some technical difficulties with my track there. I don't know what the issue was, because it worked fine on my rig without the whole setup. But once we had the whole setup going, it seemed like the bottom end was. I don't know if the subwoofer was having problems at that point or what, but who knows what it was. But anyways, didn't seem to sound right. So, and I'm
No,
not about butchering my own song if I can help it. So,
no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you could do
that's
anything. I don't think that song would be butchered at all.
fair enough. Maybe I'll have to consider a stripped down version or something, or some kind of
Oh, yeah,
alternative
there you
version.
go.
That stuff's pretty popular these days. There's a lot of they say these days when you release a song that you should have like the song, the music video, and then like a remix, and then an alternative version, whether it's like an extended mix or like I said, like a stripped down version, or like you know what I mean, some other kind of
Yeah,
like you really gotta
exactly.
make the most out of every release. So they say if you can like re release it or bring attention back to it a couple times over and over or whatever, it's always better, right? It's one of
Yeah,
those things.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
because it's hard to make a new good song every like friggin'
yeah,
2 weeks, right? But you can have one good song that you release every 3 months, and then you can promote it repeatedly over those months with additional content or whatever.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's really cool. But yeah, thanks for coming out. Yeah, that was a fun day at the festival. Shout out
Yep.
to KM and Spivvy who performed. He's in the chat right
Right,
now.
right, right.
Yeah, he performed, put on a great set. Shout out to everybody who came out to that. D Saint helped put it on. Yeah, KM is going to be on, I think, tomorrow, maybe two, along with Spivvy.
Nice.
Not at the same time, but one after the other. So we'll both talk. We'll probably talk about the festival on both those pods. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. I'll check that
Yeah, it
out
was a
then.
fun day. Yeah, it was a fun day. I like those. I like outdoor festivals. I think that's my favorite way of doing live music. Bars and stuff are fun, too, but I don't know. I prefer the outdoor thing with the lights and stuff at nighttime. I
Yeah,
think
for
that's my
sure. Yeah.
favorite. Yeah, you turn it up really loud and stuff too. It's like really loud. We knew it was booming through the whole park. We had complaints about it, so
Oh, you already did?
so
Oh, wow.
yeah. Well, just one guy kind of came over and was like, it's pretty loud. We can hear it across the park." And we're like, "It's a music festival. We got a permit. It is what it is." Like, if it
Oh,
was Canada's
wow.
Day, yeah, if it was Canada's Day, nobody would have complained. You know what I mean? It's a
No,
week
yeah,
late.
yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean? Come on, man. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird, but there's always going to be a couple of people that are sour grapes when it's hip hop and it's not. If it was acoustic music, nobody would have complained. But we live in
Yeah,
modern day. It's
exactly.
not the only kind of music. Like, you know what I mean? People got to be able to perform. So.
So, like, it seemed like it wasn't just a hip hop festival, though.
No, it wasn't. You're right, actually. That's a good
Yeah,
point. There was
yeah,
there was quite a few different styles of music. You're right. The Prodigy was there and he played a variety of instruments, saxophone and
yeah, which was
yeah, and
unreal.
playing that. He
He's
was really
unreal.
cool, eh? Yeah, it was pretty cool. He was doing it over like remixes of some like he did one over a remix of a Kendrick Lamar beat, which was kind of cool.
Yeah,
And I think he produced
yeah,
some of his own too. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was kind of neat seeing him like play an instrument over his music. I thought that was cool. And then yeah, and then Julia played acoustic guitar and sang.
yeah.
So that
She
was
was
really cool.
really good. She's
Yeah,
really
she
good,
was
by the
good.
way. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of good. Yeah, it's kind of cool to have that variety too, because I think a
Yeah,
lot of people came out maybe kind of expecting just hip hop, and they got a bit more than that. And it's good because hip hop's like a cross pollinated kind of thing anyway. Like hip
yeah,
hop, any of those hip hop artists could link up with Prodigy and do a song. Any of those artists could link up with Julia and do a song. You know what I mean? Like they could find a way to make it work, and that's one of the cool things about hip
hmm
hop is like
yeah,
it's because it's so inclusive as a genre. You can have other acts come out, and it isn't like totally out of place per se. It might be
no,
depending on who follows each act and stuff, like there might be, the content and stuff might be a bit of a shock going from one to the next act in terms of like, what they're saying. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like Julia
sure,
singing
yeah,
like breakup songs maybe or whatever. And then, you maybe get a gangster rapper after. There might be kind of a weird like transition, but avoiding that kind of stuff. You can still have, a rapper and then somebody who sings and then somebody who plays an instrument.
yeah,
That's all cool. You know what I mean? It's all cool stuff. I mean, a lot of hip hop shows back in the day would have a DJ anyway, and he'd just be scratching on beats and stuff anyway, and
yeah,
people would be, you know what I mean? So it's cool to have like there's always been different genres getting interpolated into the music of hip hop. So yeah, it
yeah.
makes sense for the festivals to relate to that too or whatever in a way. And I think that's how I fit into hip hop too because I'm not like a rapper.
No,
I do have some songs where I rap a lot, but
yeah,
I have a lot more melody and stuff too. So one of the reasons I fit into hip hop is because I kind of have that cross that barrier or whatever a little bit. So I can fit in with the hip hop guys, but I can also fit in with the singers and stuff too.
yeah, exactly, man,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's cool.
like I don't want to be this guy, but I'm just gonna say this. But it seemed like a couple of the presenters were like nervous,
Oh yeah, sure, for sure. Some people
and it
for
just
sure would
seems
get
like
some
they
nerves.
screwed up on their lyrics. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Some
Yeah,
people,
and
there's always going to be a couple people that are going to. I mean, look at me. Even I have technical errors on my set, right? There's always going to be those little
yeah, but
hiccups and
those
stuff.
technical errors weren't your fault though. Like
I know what you're
technical
saying.
stuff,
You're saying some people
stuff
didn't
is gonna
rehearse enough, is
happen.
what
You know
you're
what I mean?
saying.
You know what I
I know
mean?
what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Without naming any names or anything, this is
Yeah,
something
I'm
I'm
not gonna
making.
name people. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
put people
yeah.
underneath the bus. But like I was there at like what time did it start at 6 or 7?
It started just. No, it started earlier than that. I think we
Oh,
started 5:30 or 5 or something like that.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I was there to see you open, and then I
yeah.
stayed for the acoustic guitar. I forget her name.
Julia,
Julia.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I left because I didn't know it was that long. So
Mm.
then I came back and we saw the guy at the saxophone.
Yeah, Prodigy. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
great.
which was really good.
Yeah.
And I forget the other ones that we seen. And then I was getting so tired, and then we
Yeah, it
stayed
was a long day. It
for
was a long day in the sun.
the ending,
Mm.
and you were playing the mountain, and then the technical errors happened.
Yeah. Yeah, my song fell apart. I don't know what happened. It was like the bottom end fell out or something. It was like all bass. It was weird.
Yeah,
Um,
well, you have a lot of
my
bass in
other
your
song,
songs, though.
yeah, yeah, that's true. All my other songs sounded fine though, so it was strange. It wasn't. I don't think it was a mix thing. Like I don't know what it was. Maybe I had a knob got turned accidentally on the rig or something. Who knows? It was strange. It seemed like
Spivvy.
the stub wasn't picking up the sound right. So
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't you. No, no, no. But I'm
no,
not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
who it was. But it wasn't you,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
You were on fire.
Spivvy was great. Yeah, Spivvy killed it. No, yeah. It's one of these things. First of all, these kind of festivals are great for artists that are still getting
Yeah.
their first legs in performing. So there's going to be nerves for sure. There are some also that don't take it quite as serious as guys like Spivvy and I do. Who for
Yeah,
us,
exactly,
the performances
exactly.
are really like you know what I mean. It's a big deal to
Yeah.
us, and we never want to go up and look unprepared or make those kind of mistakes. You know what I mean? Even though to be fair, I messed up. Like I mess up back on beat all the time. I know
Yeah.
Spivvy knows that, and I
Well,
messed up.
yeah, yeah.
And what's the other song there that I messed up at the Bubba's show? I messed up one of those songs, but
Oh,
like
really?
messed up. I messed up the first verse. I confused it with the second verse, and what I did was
Oh,
I kind of just like made it work a little bit, and then I just like kind of there's like a break in the song where there's no
yeah.
lyrics. I kind of said to everybody like, "Yo, let me fix that. I'm gonna do this next verse, and I'm gonna kill it for you guys," kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you address it really in a fun way. You don't have to. You know what I mean? The worst thing you can do when you do those mess ups is like fall apart, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You
Worst
don't want
case
to see them.
scenario,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like if it's really getting out of hand, worst case scenario, go like, yo, let me restart from the top, or just go to the next song. You know what I mean? And just beat the DJ, be like, yo, this isn't working. Just you know what I mean? I've never had that
Yeah.
happen, but like
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
that scenario, you got to do what you got to do, right? Like you can't embarrass yourself worse or something.
No.
You know what I mean? At that point, you don't want to hold up the show. That's what makes an
Yeah. Yeah.
incident.
Yeah.
You got to keep it going. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the recovery. That's right. And in a lot of cases,
Exactly.
people might
Yeah.
respect you more. Like other artists that are there, they'll respect you more if they see like, oh, you know what, he did mess up and he didn't fall apart. He got right back into the pocket. Like I've seen shout
Which
out to
you did.
Kevo. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, right. And like, shout outs to Kevo. I remember one time at Bubba's, he was doing a song, and his songs are really hard. He needs really good breath control, so it's really easy to make those little mistakes. Especially like if the mic's a little quiet and you're pushing a bit harder and stuff like that than you're used to. Little
Okay.
things that can mess with your breath control, you know. But like a guy like Kevo, I remember one time he had a little mistake, but then boom, right back into the pocket, and he was back into it. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like nobody even remembers it really, other than people like
No.
myself who are paying attention. But the reason we notice is because he picked it back up so well, and that's something like other artists go, that's exactly what you need to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Instead of
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not about like making fun of that stuff or whatever, because
No.
they especially like I said, I mean it's only worse if they like, oh no, and then they like drop their mic and you know what I mean? Like fall
Yeah,
off the stage or
exactly. Yeah.
something, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
like to just quit
Yeah,
right
make it
there.
just
Yeah,
make it
I
worse
know.
than themselves in every way possible. Yeah, that's when, or like Jessica Simpson it and blame your band or something like that, right? Like I think that you know what I mean. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but for me, yeah, like add back to what we were saying. There's always going to be some people that come a little bit more prepared than others, that take it a bit more serious than others for sure. And for a guy like myself and a guy like Spivvy, I would imagine, I
Yep.
don't want to speak for him, but I imagine he relates to this. You know, you learn at these kind of shows who you would want to work with on your own shows or not, right?
Go.
So it's one of those things. It's like, and it's like a vetting process. You know what I mean? You can see who's professional. You can see who, even if they maybe are still developing, whether they still were trying, you know what I mean, or really trying to make sure it was a good
Yeah.
show, regardless of, you know what I mean, their level in terms of performance and stuff. Everybody gets a bit of performance anxiety. I do myself a bit, once in a while, but it's one of those things like, you know, you can't let that like take away from it. Like if you've got nerves, that means it's important to you. That's kind of the way that I've always looked at it.
Yeah.
So that means like I need to take it seriously. So if I'm worried ahead of time that I'm going to get nervous, that means I have to prepare more. So I make sure I put more effort into rehearsal or
Exactly.
preparation, whatever that might be, right? And that tends to pay off. And then in that moment when you are on the stage or whatever, you're less likely to have as much anxiety because you are as prepared as possible. Jada says a little bit of liquor helps. Like, it can help a little bit. For the problem I have is if I drink like even 2 beers, I start to notice with my music, my syllables are very like precise syllables. I notice if I'm
Oh,
even slurring the tiniest bit, I don't want like, you know what I mean? I don't want that to sound noticeable, especially with some of my faster songs. So I'm always worried about drinks before shows. I tend to swear off drinking and smoking before sets because because I'm worried about, first of all, dry mouth from smoking, and then
yeah.
liquor. I'm worried with the liquor I'll have too much, and then I'll be messing up my songs. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one of those things. There's a balance. There's a fine balance for sure to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, nerves. I mean, everybody's going to get nerves once in a while. But like I said, it's all about your preparation methods. I think that's a big part of handling those nerves ahead of time, because that's what curbs them ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rather than showing up the day of and being like, oh my God, I'm so unprepared. Oh my God, what do I do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's how you're going to induce that panic and really fall apart on stage, I'd imagine. But
Yeah, for sure.
you
But
know,
like I
that's
said, I hate to be that guy, but like I said it, so
there's always hey, and that's an honest review, and it's
yeah.
good for those, obviously none of the artists will take it personally
No,
because we're not calling out anybody in particular,
no,
obviously.
God, no, no, no.
So it's one of those things, but they can all go, oh, okay, that's something to remember for any artist that, like, here's a review that's a critical, what would you call that, uh sorry, it's like, it's not really like an insulting thing. It's like,
No.
you're trying to help us improve, right? Everybody wants to do better at these things, so everybody can learn from, like, hey, some of the people were maybe not at their best for that show. You know what I mean? So maybe next
Yeah,
time they can all prepare a bit more or whatever, right? So who knows?
yeah, for sure.
It's one of those things. It is also, some of these guys do a lot of like rapping over their own tracks too, instead of
Oh,
having
okay.
like just the instrumental, right? A lot of them rap over their own lyrics. So
Oh, okay.
thank you, Stevie. Constructive criticism was the word I was
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for. Thank you.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what you
word,
want.
Braden. Come
Yeah,
on.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You always want a little bit
Yeah,
of feedback that will help you improve. No matter what, because the truth is, you don't learn anything from like one where you knock it out of the park. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you go out and you kill the show every time. You're never going to know what would happen if you do mess up. I shouldn't say every time. Nobody can every time. But like, imagine when you do go out and you kill it and nobody's got anything bad to say, then you're not going to know where you can improve. Obviously, that night might go great, but the point is, there's going to be the nights where you don't do as well. There's going to be the nights where you mess up. There's going to be the nights where somebody distracts you in the audience, or you come in angry because somebody said something to you, or you know what I mean. There's always going to be something that's going to make it less than
yeah,
less than 100%, right? You're never, so you got to be ready for that
exactly.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of people, there you go, Jada says it in the chat. Yeah, a lot of people just dub the lyrics to their catalog as, yeah, 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 they're
Oh, yeah,
right, right. A
'cause
lot
it's
of
just
people can't remember
yeah,
all the lyrics to all
yeah,
their songs. That's fair. Yeah, and a lot of live performances too. If it's a festival or like an outdoor show, sometimes with the in-ear monitors, they can't hear themselves well. So a lot of them will use that excuse that they just played a track. So to make sure the sound is always better for the audience, because sometimes you can,
exactly.
nobody wants to ruin a show or whatever, unfortunately.
No, no. So was that the first? Like, was that the first time that I forget who ran the festival, but was that the first time for it there?
KM and D Saint ran that festival, and no, they've done it. I think that's the second one they've done. I might be wrong about that. They may have done one other, but I think it's the second. And they're planning to do one more before the end of the summer.
Oh,
I think if I don't want to announce anything, so I might be wrong about that. I'm not going to say any dates or anything, but I think there might be trying to do another. It might not be at the same park or anything, but they're trying to do
yeah.
another show at some point. So I think that'll be this year. But they try and do at least one every year. Yeah.
Okay.
Last year we did it a bit later in the year. I think we did it in August or September last year. Um, but all the artists involved in these shows, they always really enjoy them. It's always a positive experience for all of them. They all have a lot they can learn from it. So and it's great for the hip hop scene and the music scene in general, right? Bringing live shows back is one of the things that a lot of artists are. All the artists really want to do, but it's hard to get stages, right? So we got to create them. And, you know, guys like Small Island Dreamers are out there creating those stages for the artists to show up and perform their art on, and that's a big deal. It's not easy to do. It costs them money out of pocket. They don't make money. That was a free festival, you know what I mean? So they don't make any money. We didn't make any money, you know what I mean, paying for the rental equipment and all that stuff, right? So it is what it is. But that's you know, you do that stuff for the love of it, right? We want to perform. So.
Oh yeah. But,
so it is what it is. Yeah. And it's good. And it, like Jada said, it's great that a lot of shows are popping up in the scene because it just means more opportunities and more eyeballs on the scene. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to them. So yeah, shout outs to KM and D Saint for putting it on because it's a lot of fun to do those shows too. I had a good day.
I mean, you were there early.
Mm-hmm. I was there the whole day, so yeah, start to finish because I was DJing. So I saw everybody's set, heard everybody's music.
Before you started.
Sorry?
I said it was good seeing you before it started.
Yeah, likewise, man. Likewise. Yeah, it's always cool to be able to have people come out and see the setup and stuff too, kind of thing, a bit behind the scenes kind of thing, right? You can see us all stressing. I think we were freaking out because we were looking for cables or something when you showed up. There was something that was happening because we had to delay a few minutes.
You were freaking out, man.
Yeah. I think it was a cable I left at home, and hopefully D Saint had the cable, like had another one, but it's one of those things. There's always something that goes wrong technically at these shows. Yeah. No, like no matter what, there's always something. So, but those just end up being fun stories. You know what I mean? We end up figuring it out and then get the show rolling. No worries. You know? Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said on previously there, like, but the constructive criticism, like I've gotten that for like my podcast, and people say that I ramble on and stuff. But I mean, I like to talk. You know me, like
me too. Yeah,
stuff like I don't know. I'll just take it with a grain of salt and just like try not to talk as much. You know what I mean?
Well, it's your podcast. I mean, if you're kind of supposed to talk on it.
No, I know.
I don't know. Maybe they feel like you stick on subjects too long or something. But like, I mean, that's exactly. It's also an individual. Like, somebody who's really interested in that topic and hearing from you on that topic might want you to go longer on it. Somebody who's not interested, they should maybe skip ahead. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean? So it's like in that case, like, I don't know, as long as you're saying something, I guess. If you're just rambling about nothing, I get it. But then they can just not watch your podcast. So again, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're watching my podcast, you probably don't have like, you know, the most important shit going on right at this second. So like, you know what I mean? I don't know if they can really get mad at me for rambling. I'm like, come on, man, you tuned in. I'm trying to entertain, right? But but I had fun doing your guys' podcast. You guys have a fun format. For those who are watching who don't know, Nick has a podcast. It's on YouTube. Do you guys just put it on YouTube?
Just on YouTube. I like to put somewhere else too, but I don't know where.
You can put them on Spotify now, I think, through Anchor FM. I distribute mine through that. I'm not sure if it has a video component for that though. I just do the audio. I port the audio over to YouTube and SoundCloud and Anchor FM, which goes onto Spotify, which you might want to consider doing if you want. The thing I like about the Spotify one is that you can cut the episodes up and put like music in between. So for when I have artists on, we can talk about one of their songs, and then I can have the short 30-second break or 2-minute break while we'll play their song, whatever song we want or whatever. So excuse me, I'm burping. I was drinking an energy drink.
Okay. Energy drink. Ooh.
But yeah, I've got a real problem. This needs to be my unofficial sponsor for the podcast. Needs to be my unofficial sponsor.
There you go.
Our buddy Denver keeps telling me that because I'm always at shows. I always have them too. I wasn't a huge coffee guy until more recently. So it's one of those things. So I've always gone for the Red Bulls whenever I want the caffeine, which is it's battery acid, so it's probably going to give me cancer or something. But
don't say that.
I don't know. But it's one of these things. It keeps the energy going whenever I start getting tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, the festival is a lot of fun. And I've got a couple shows coming up too, so those will be good. August.
What dates are those?
August 6th, Bubba's Lounge. I'll be headlining, if everything goes according to plan. And then,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, and then I think the 14th, I think I'll be doing Nimrod's Floating Dock.
Ooh.
But and they did say, like, they emailed me back and stuff and agreed on the date, but I didn't get anything back from them after that. So I'm gonna have to double check that before I make an official announcement and kind of make a poster and all that stuff. I'll do that next week. Kind of just make sure from them, like, you're sure, like, you know what I mean? Like, they said that date's fine, but I
Yeah,
expected them to be like, say something else, because they asked me in that, like, if I was bringing any other guest artists, and I said, yeah, I've got a couple people in mind, and then they didn't say anything after that. So I was like, kind of like, okay, I think we're still on.
are we still
So I
on?
better find out for sure. I'll get a hold of them and make sure. I'll go visit probably just to check out the dock and stuff too. I always like to kind of get
Yeah,
an idea of what the venue is like. I've been there before, but they may have changed it since last time I was there.
sure.
To kind of see if I need to get equipment too, if I need to worry about anything like that. Maybe get a photo of the place so I can post it on my socials or whatever for promotion.
Yeah,
Um, so that's kind of stuff I'll be doing real soon. But yeah, the August 6th show is really exciting for me because it'll be my first headlining show. Like, I've headlined events like where we've had other, like, I mean, I did the last set at the festival, you know what I mean? That was like technically a headliner slot if it's the last guy performing, but this will be my first show that's like my show. So I'm really excited for that.
yeah,
Should
for
be good.
sure.
Should be good. Yeah, should be a good experience. And then from there, I'll probably start trying to do more shows that way, where I bring in a bunch of other artists underneath me, similar to how D Saint and KM do, but it'll be BraedenV presents instead of Small Island Dreamers presents. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
exactly.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So speaking of sponsors, so you recently made some logos for the podcast with Nick and Dylan,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I obviously haven't been able to broadcast that because we haven't done a podcast
No, yeah.
episode
That's
in
all right.
2 months.
That's all right. The logos don't take too much work to make. It's one of those
No,
things.
I really appreciate that, man. I know
Yeah,
you're
no worries.
busy and stuff, but
Your boy's got graphic art skills. It's one of these weird things. When I started making music, I ended up picking up a bunch of other weird skill sets. So now I can be a photographer. I can shoot and edit videos. I can make logos and graphic design. I promote now. I've learned social media. I'm getting all these stupid skill sets that I didn't really want when I started making music. I just wanted to be able to write some songs. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, if you want to get them heard, you have to start learning a bunch of other things. Unless you've got a bunch of money to help pay to pay a bunch of people to do that shit for you. Unfortunately, I'm in that middle ground where I've got a bit of money, but it's better always to do as much as you can. And it's also better to learn to do as much as you can, because then you know exactly what it is you're paying for. You know what I mean? So if you learn a bit about editing, then you know exactly how much you can do, and then when you have to, defer to the experts or whatever for certain things. For myself, a lot of my investment ends up going into like the music production side,
yeah,
because I like working with really good producers and stuff on my beats
well,
and stuff. So
yeah, you want to, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, like you're gonna laugh at this, my friend, but I honestly did not know that Bubba's Lounge was on top of Cedar's Eatery.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people don't. Yeah, yeah. And right next door to it, is the old Triangle, and they've got a room right above it too that we
Yeah,
do performances at too. That I think it's called the tap room, that upstairs part. I might be
yeah,
wrong about that.
yeah.
But yeah, above old Triangles, we had to tell a bunch of people, like, it's second
Like,
floor, and people are like, there's a second floor.
there's nothing there about Bubba's Lounge.
Yeah, they I think it's like so Cedar's Eatery has like these two sign parts, and in the middle there's this like arcing lettering, I think, that says Bubba's Lounge or something. It's not, they don't display that part the most. You're right. They're definitely go for the restaurant branding, I think, first. But the lounge is a great spot in town. It's like one of those stages that they give a lot of opportunities for new artists to perform. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, hopefully I can go there.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's cool. It's like very small, but I kind of like the small stage set. I like those small, intimate lounges and stuff. Those are kind of my vibes. Because like a lot of my songs have like really deep bass, and it fills those spaces really well, with the reverb and stuff. And I dig that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a personal thing. Whereas a guy like KM, he's got a lot more like hype music. So outdoor festivals and stuff, he sounds great at, because that music really, pushes out that space. It doesn't depend on so much atmospheric as my music does, I think.
yeah,
But that's like a production thing. That's that nerd production shit that, that we talk about behind the scenes in the studios.
yeah. There you go.
Yep.
So,
So what do
oh, sorry.
you do? No, that's all right. That's all right. You want to talk some UFC?
Oh, we definitely got to talk some UFC.
We got the some stuff coming up on the UFC. I haven't been watching as much lately. Actually, I've been skipping a bunch of
Same.
the fights. But I've been keeping up just on podcasts and stuff once in a while when I'm working or whatever, and like watching the shows. But they got a couple of weird, interesting fights coming up that I thought were that you might want to talk about, because I know you and I both kind of watch the UFC a bit and follow it and talk about it once in a while and comment
Yeah.
on the pages and stuff. But everybody of course is wondering the big question in UFC, which is like Conor McGregor, right? Who's he going to fight when he comes back, right? Everybody wants to know.
Who cares?
Who cares? That's a lot of people think that too. But come on, if they announce a fight with him tomorrow, you're gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
But he's a money fight. That's all he is now.
He's a big money fight, but that's what all the fighters want. All the fighters want to get paid. So you know what I mean? If
Did he
they fight with
actually
him,
fight now though? Because he has a steel thing in his leg.
pretty bad injury. He got a pretty bad injury there, didn't he? He messed that shin up. For those who don't know, I think he broke it up throwing a kick or something, or he stepped on it weirdly after throwing a kick. That kick, like kind of not as bad as Anderson Silva, but he broke his leg in the shin, lower part of his shin, or his ankle or whatever, above his ankle. Pretty rough looking thing. Nasty injury. Yeah, might really change his career. He might not be as mobile or whatever after that. Who knows, right? It's a rough injury, man. I wouldn't want that. You ever broken a bone?
No, surprisingly. You?
No, you never broken a bone. Have you? What's your worst injury? What's your worst injury?
Sorry, broke my rib.
You broke your rib. Ow! How do you forget that? That sounds awful.
Paintball, man.
Paintball and you broke your rib. Damn, I didn't come out for that paintball game. I missed it. I missed it.
Yeah,
Damn,
last July or last June.
So I'm
playing at frig, what's the name of it? Out in Cavendish there, Crossfire.
Okay, Crossfire. Oh, I haven't been there. Okay.
And so I'll tell you the story. We got time, do we?
Yeah. Tell me. I'd love to hear how you broke your rib. Actually, no, I've never broken a rib. That sounds.
Okay,
that's one of the ones that I'm always like, no, don't do it.
Here.
Yeah.
And so their capture the flag idea is for a big dummy. They don't have a flag. So I ran up to the tower, grabbed the flag, and I'm like, boys, cover me. So I jumped. I tried to do a jump, and I landed on my side of the railing, and I got hit with a paintball in the back of my neck. And then I'm down on the ground, and I'm like, shit. And then I got back up, and like my rib wasn't hurt at the time for some reason. But then when we went to the restaurant after paintball, boys were making me laugh, and I was like, boys, don't make me laugh.
Oh, okay.
My rib's hurting. And then a few days went by, and then it was really sore. And so I went to the doctors, and I told him I broke my rib. Or my rib like feels like sore. And he's like, you broke your rib? I was like, really? I was like, I've never broken a bone in my life.
So it wasn't like the snap, like you landed on it and you didn't hear a snap or feel right away.
And I had like the pods around my waist.
Right.
And I think one of the pods got lodged like right here or something.
Oh, okay. So like maybe like a point kind of thing, like wedged into the bone or whatever. Damn.
Oh, man, it was hurting, man. Work was hard.
You didn't take work off with a broken rib?
No, I didn't. Not at all.
I feel like that's a valid excuse to take calls in for work, man.
I didn't do as much work as I usually do.
Yeah, fair enough. I would definitely take the week off at least if I had a broken rib.
No, man, I felt like I was worthless, just like standing.
I imagine that's an interesting story. I'm surprised by that though. I'm surprised when you landed on it, you didn't like feel it, like because when I broke my I got a hairline.
My friend, too much adrenaline.
Too much adrenaline. You're right. Yeah, I was catching the flag. You had the flag. That's a fair enough point. I got a hairline fracture of this arm once when I was young. I think I was like 14 or something. And it was wintertime, I think February, and I was walking to school with some friends, and they were playing those games where you trip each other.
That's a game?
The two of them were like, they were tripping each other. I was just like, walking with them, and they were doing their workplace stuff. And then one of them was like, oh, you keep doing your trip badly, let me show you how to trip somebody. And then he like unexpectedly tripped me, and like I landed on ice like behind with my arm behind me like this, and it went like upwards, like straight up like a Kimura, essentially, like the whole bone split in half essentially. Not the whole way through though, so I didn't, apparently if I'd gone the whole way through, I guess, and split totally in half, I would have had to get surgery. So I was lucky, I guess. But it was essentially like, I cracked it like down the middle, essentially. And it's pretty rough for quite a while, man. I knew right away it was done. I went into shock, actually, I remember, because it hurt too much to cry. I remember that as the memory. Like, it was like just too much pain for me to even cry. So I went into shock. I remember walking to the school because they knew I was hurt, but I don't think they cared or didn't realize how much it was. They weren't the best for friends, apparently. But anyways, they kind of like, one of them pulled me up after a few minutes because I was like, like, you need to help me up. Like, my arm's messed. And they like, I end up walking like faster than them to get back to school because my thought was like, just get to school and they'll call my parents or whatever. And so I was pretty sure it was broken at the time, but like at the moment when it snapped, I knew something was wrong. That's for sure. You know what I mean? Whether I consciously was like, oh, it's broken or not, I don't know. But I remember being like, not even crying for like 6 hours. We ended up waiting in the waiting room at the hospital for like 8.5, 9 hours while I'm sitting there with my arm hanging on. It was so weird.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah, to this day, this arm still, if somebody punches me on it, it'll hurt way more than the other side. Like, quite a bit more, noticeably more. So if people hit me, I'm like, damn, don't get that side, yo. It's my bad side. So, yeah, there you go. That's my broken arm story. I also, I broke my baby toe once, too, which is really stupid. I know of all things, like the tiniest bone, and they basically, the doctors were like, you can't do anything about that. Like, just don't walk on it, dummy. And they gave me one.
Don't walk on it, okay.
Yeah, they're like, just don't walk on my guy, yeah. But, yeah, I broke my baby toe. I stubbed it really bad once. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy about that story. But, yeah, it sucks. I haven't broken anything else that I know of. I can't remember. Jammed some fingers pretty bad. That sucks. But hey, what's up, Kay? KM just joined the chat. Shout out to him. We were talking about the festival earlier, buddy. So yeah, anyway, so we were talking about UFC, but got into the broken bone injury. Started talking about broken bones. Yeah, so yeah, you know, I was thinking we got that like I don't know if you saw this just today or yesterday. The UFC announced that they're looking at Sean O'Malley to fight Peter Yan, which is
what?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said too. I was like, doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense to me, man. It's a really weird matchup and very unexpected.
Wow.
I know. I thought that was weird. So people were saying kind of to me that I was talking to about it. Their thought was essentially it's like go big or go home for Sean O'Malley at this point because he's kind of in that weird space. So it's kind of like good for the UFC no matter what because if he wins, they can fast track him to a title shot off that win. Or if he loses, he fought against Peter Yan. He's one of the best guys ever. He just was holding the title. You know what I mean? It's like one of those weird kind of. It's like a catch-22 that UFC can kind of get away with. So go figure. You know, it's one of those. But they just announced they're looking at that, and I'm like, that's a really weird one. I don't think it's officially announced, but it was like verbally agreed on or something.
Okay.
Seems weird to me. Like, I think that's a strange matchup, but Sean O'Malley is one of those guys where I think the UFC is kind of going like, all right, let's cash out on this guy as much as we can before he takes too many losses or whatever. So yeah, I thought that was an odd matchup they announced. It looks like Aljo is going to fight Dillashaw. I don't know if you know, Aljamain Sterling's fighting TJ Dillashaw. It's a good fight too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I like Dillashaw, but I like both of them actually in this. It's a really good fight. I think Aljo will have a bit of an advantage. I think he's a bit younger, but Dillashaw was beat up pretty bad in his last fight and had to take quite a bit of time off. And before that, he was off for quite a while. So I just think Aljo might be a bit fresher right now. And he's a bit longer. I think Dillashaw might have problems closing that distance.
Yeah. Huh.
That'll be a good fight though. For the bantamweight title, I think. And then I'm trying to think what else. I was wondering like who you think McGregor's going to fight when he comes back because Poirier's fighting Dariush, which is a weird fight also. The weird UFC matchmaking lately is, anyways. Poirier's fighting Dariush. Oliveira's fighting not Chimaev, sorry. He's fighting Makhachev. So that's a good fight. That's a great fight for the title. So that means McGregor's not getting the title shot when he comes back, though, if he comes back in the next little bit. So that leaves like Ferguson, Gaethje, and Chandler, maybe, I think, unless Gaethje has a fight booked, but I don't think he does. So it's like between those three, I think Ferguson makes most sense for McGregor to fight if he comes back. I'm
surprised Ferguson is coming back, man.
Yeah, he got starched by Chandler there. Yeah, I think that was his first knockout loss, though. I think he was stopped. I guess he was stopped by Gaethje, but I think I don't know. I like Ferguson. I know,
but how many times
it's been rough.
Lose?
I know it's been rough on him, man. It's been rough on my boy. Look what they did to my boy. It's too bad. He's been going through the ringer, man. He had a rough run, but he's one of the best ever, man. He's so fun to watch. He's so entertaining. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? I'm always tuning in for Tony Ferguson. He's always exciting. And for me, that's honestly like, you know what I mean? That's half of what the sport's about is like who excites you and who's fun to watch, right? Rather than like who's the best, right? There's both aspects, you know what I mean? And who's the best and fun to watch. That's the best kind of fighters, obviously. But, you know, you don't always get that. So for me, Tony, he's appointment viewing. He's like Anderson Silva. I will always watch an Anderson Silva fight. You know what I mean? Till he's 80 years old. But that's like, you know, with your favorite band or whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's people that, you know, the Rolling Stones are still touring, you know what I mean? Like there's people that they love the Rolling Stones so much, they'll go see them even if they're literally in wheelchairs all on stage, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's cool, you know what I mean? It's cool that people that love the music that much or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I've always thought that MMA, I've always liked it because there's a lot of allegory to any other, like to conflict in life and struggle in life. So a lot of artists can really relate, I think, to MMA on a personal level. First of
Mhm.
all, it's an individual sport. If you're a solo artist like myself, it seems like it's always you against, the world, or you against other people, or whatever, you against whoever it might be, whatever obstacle it is that you're facing at that point. Even if it's you in the recording studio, is the you know what I mean. But still, the point is, I've always felt like there's like a lot of allegory you can take from fighting in
Yeah.
life. Whether it's like just the value of like seeing people overcome things that seem hard to overcome, or whatever, you know what I mean. There's a lot of
Yeah.
struggle
Sure.
you see them go through, and the grind, right? The training, the grind is the real thing, right? Everybody, likes to see the fruit of their labors, but the hard part is the labor first, right? And a lot of people can really relate to those people that work hard, and every single day they're
Sure.
putting in their hours, and putting their head down and putting their nose to the grindstone or whatever. So I have a lot of respect for that. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of
Yeah.
dedication. You know what I mean? Like commitment.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like climbing a mountain.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, shout outs to my song. Yeah, shout outs to Nick, who helped promote my song, The Mountain. Actually, I think The Mountain is my most popular quote unquote
Yeah.
song on Spotify. It doesn't have the most streams, but it's the most
Wow.
popular, which means that it essentially got the most like engagement, whether that's like people hard like liking the song, adding it to playlists, sharing it, whatever whatever it might be. Even though it's not, like I said, the most played, because there's songs that have a couple of thousand more streams.
Yeah.
It's got the most engagement, so it's the most popular song on my Spotify to date. So shout outs to guys like you who supported The Mountain, on its release earlier this year. The music video is coming soon. I've been waiting on the music video. It's coming up. I've been waiting a lot. I've been waiting
I've
for
been
years.
waiting.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. That'll be soon. Hopefully by the end of the summer, I think.
Awesome.
Hopefully, but before that, but we'll see. I was hoping to debut it for my show in August, so
Yeah.
that might still happen. We'll see. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
What do you think about Nate Diaz and what's going on with him?
Mm. Yeah, Diaz is in a weird situation, right? So
I feel so bad for him.
I do too. Well, he's like in that same GSP spot where GSP's at, where he wanted to go do something that wasn't
Yeah.
MMA, and the UFC's like, you can't. You have a contract with us that controls your ability to do any combat sport,
Then give
which
him
is
a fight
ridiculous.
then.
I know, well, exactly, right? But so they want to give him crap fights. They want to give him the worst fights possible. So when he does not sign his contract again, because he doesn't want to re-up with them, they
No.
want him to be as minimized of a free agent as possible, right? They want to damage
Yeah.
his worth on the open market. So if he does go take a boxing fight, he's not worth as it's not going to make as much is the idea. They're worth, you know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
gross. If MMA fighters were incorporated into the Ali Act like boxers are,
Yeah.
they would be able to. He would be able to do that. I mean, it's funny because they let Conor McGregor go and box, but they
Oh
won't
yeah.
let other.
That's Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah, but it's like it just goes to show the ridiculous special treatment that comes from celebrity essentially, because that's really the
Yeah.
only difference between McGregor and a guy like Diaz. Diaz is celebrity too, but McGregor's that much more of one, and he
Yeah.
moves the numbers, and that's what fucking matters. Unfortunately, in this world, is like who's putting butts in seats. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
they care about.
Yeah.
So they're gonna let that guy do whatever he wants as long as he's continually putting butts in the seats for them. Diaz doesn't care about putting butts in seats. He's doing it anyway, but he's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's not the same thing. It's not quite as big, and it's not as I don't know. It just doesn't benefit the UFC the same way. So it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
It really goes to show contracts can really do a lot to inhibit what you can do, and that's why artists like myself, who are independent, we have to remember before you sign any deal that's exclusive, remember exactly what the terms are on it, and no, don't sign something that's longer than 2 years, or if you can at least, or you know what I mean. Make sure you've got leverage, because if you sign your soul, quote unquote, sign your soul away or whatever, you know what I mean, which means giving away your rights to your music, ownership of your music and your platform, you can be really screwed at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because if you have an issue with that record label, they can tie you up, or if you don't make as much money as they want, and they gave you an advance and they didn't get their reimbursement, you're shelved and you're not releasing any more music. You know what I mean? Stuff like that can happen, and that's something I'm afraid of. For me, I always want to be able to release music when I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole idea is to get partnered with people that can enable more releases of better music. That's all I'm interested in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So how do we make that happen without, getting people to control when we can release music, or what kind of music we make, or, or control it, like maybe, in the future when you pass away, you don't want your family not being able to control that music and where it goes. You know what I mean? You don't want some
Yeah.
corporation owning that. That would suck. You know what I mean? But these things happen when you sign contracts. So
Yeah.
got to read the fine print, unfortunately.
There you go.
Yeah, we live in a weird world.
Yeah. So you think Diaz is gonna face Logan? The Logan Paul and
think he'd probably fight Jake Paul, if
Jake
anything, but I
Paul.
think Jake Paul has a fight coming up. So, but then again,
Oh,
like, he'd probably want to fight again after. So, and Diaz probably wouldn't be able to fight him until next year anyway, like end of the year or early next year anyway. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's what they want. It seems like it. They both talked about it. So that would make sense, right? I mean, who else would he fight anyway? I don't think Diaz is going to
Diaz
go
should
try.
just face both of them in the ring.
I think, well, that's what I think. I think both Diaz brothers should fight
Why
both the
not?
Paul brothers. Yeah, and I think Paul brothers should probably both win. But
Well,
but
I don't
but
know if you noticed, but Logan Paul just signed a WWE contract there.
yeah, did he? Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. So he's
Yeah.
going to make like appearances a couple times a year or something like that.
Well, he's facing the Miz. I don't know if you know the Miz,
No.
but he's facing him at SummerSlam.
Okay, so he's going to be showing up like doing like professional wrestling events and stuff like
Yeah,
probably promoting too, because again, puts butts in seats, sells tickets, draws eyeballs. Right? We live in an age where
yep,
it's all about that. It's about can you draw people's attention? He draws attention, so big
yeah,
organizations are interested in that, right? Come put your eyeball on this guy and our product at the same time, and hopefully they stick around for the product because they like it.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's good for him. Those guys are making their money, man. That's for sure. If there's
Yeah.
one thing you can learn from those Paul brothers, whether you like them or hate them, they know how to put themselves in positions where they can make a lot of money. And they seem like they're doing it, so good for them, right? Doing better than the Island Boys, I guess. So
Yeah, yes. Oh
I've
God.
been hearing some rough stories about them, but I imagine when you come on the scene with a look like them, you're only bound to get made fun of after a while. It's kind of that thing. So
Yeah.
oh god, rough. We live in interesting times, man. We live in interesting times.
Too.
Yep.
Rough, man.
Yep. So do you guys have any like timeline for your next podcast, or what do you think? You think you're gonna hit them up after this and go, "Hey, buddy, we're getting back in the saddle real
Oh,
soon."
well, maybe. I haven't talked to him in a while, so
Hmm.
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I guess. Eh?
Yeah. What are you thinking of Stylebender? Do you like his fighting or no?
Yeah, I like Stylebender. I heard his last fight was rough. Or he's had a couple fights that were a little
Yeah.
not what people expected, I guess, not quite what he sells. You know what I mean? Like, the problem with a guy like him is he's branding himself as such a action. When he was coming up, at least I remember everybody was saying he's Anderson Silva 2.0, Anderson Silva
Yeah.
2.0. And so far he come out, he's a bit more like GSP 2.0 in ways, whereas, he's doing very point fighting tactical things, which a lot of people do like, but it's not entertaining, right? And
Yeah.
he sells himself like he's going to starch these guys, right? And I understand that's easier said than done. Trust me, I understand that. But it's it is weird, right? I think a lot of people expect him to step on the gas a bit more if he's that ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Because that's what he seems to be, is ahead of the game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's going to fight that Pereira guy in his next fight, who's like a guy who's beat him in the past, knocked him out. So
Okay.
that'd be interesting. I think that's going to happen. I'm not sure if that's next for him, but I wouldn't be surprised. Dana seemed like he was pretty intent on the next Adesanya appearance being really exciting. That's really what he was promising. So who knows what that means? But yeah, I like Adesanya for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But he beat Anderson Silva, man. I can't root for a guy that beat Anderson Silva. It's just, it
And
is what it is.
what's his name? We were just talking about him. Oh yeah, Oliveira versus who is it again?
Makachev, yeah, Islam Makachev. They're gonna fight in Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
I think.
So
I think it's in Abu
apparently,
Dhabi.
people are saying that if Oliveira wins, that Khabib would come out of retirement to face Oliveira.
Really, I haven't heard that, but that's interesting. I don't know. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I don't care about Khabib at this point. I like Oliveira, man. I think Oliveira would be a great fight for Khabib. I do think that, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Oliveira's fun to watch. He's one of those dudes. He's like Tony in a lot of ways too, where it's like doesn't matter
Yeah,
what's going on, he's got something for it. And
for
he's
sure.
exciting. That'd be a good fight though. I'd watch that. Makachev Oliveira is a tough fight. It's a tough fight because I don't know if Oliveira is going to be able to do anything while he's getting wrestled. I mean, like, it's all, yeah, probably not. So we'll see.
Because I mean, it's mixed martial arts, but when you introduce wrestling against just striking boxing, wrestling most of the time wins.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
you
like,
know what I mean? Like, they go to do a punch or something, and you put them in a wrestling move, and that person's on the ground. Like,
it's hard to, yeah, it's tough. It gets tough. Yeah. I wonder, Makachev probably win that. That's my guess. If I had to put money on it, I'm putting my money on Makachev.
ooh, okay.
But yeah, but I wouldn't put a lot of money because that's it's a tough matchup.
Yeah,
Tough matchup.
true. And I mean, you want to save some money for your music career too, as well.
Yeah, I'm not a betting man really myself anyway. Yeah, not much of a gambler. Yeah, it's not really my thing too much. I'd be the type of guy who, like, if I felt like it was a real sure thing, then I'd maybe put some money on it. But even then, I'm usually the type where that's not where my money goes. You know what I mean? Even if it's just like extra money that I can spend on whatever I want for fun kind of thing. Usually I'm not thinking of gambling with it. Usually I'm thinking of, going out for food or yeah, music stuff or whatever it might be. Just, yeah, not my thing to gamble.
Yeah.
It's probably because I don't think I'm very good at it. I'm not really good at most of those like card games and stuff anyway, casino games, all that stuff. I'm okay at blackjack, but not for me, man. Not for me. It's probably a good thing. I don't have enough money to be thrown around that way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You can't throw that money around yet.
No, maybe someday I'll be like Drake and be able to just blow money on.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's
Buy the
got
most
some.
expensive wine, eh?
Oh yeah, I'd imagine that sounds like something he'd do. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
think he's got some betting website deal going on where he promotes them,
yeah.
so he's been spending a lot of house money. I've been noticing lately.
I've
So
seen that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it must be nice. Must be nice, man. A lot of how many people would die for like a
You'll be
percentage of
there
the amount of money
soon.
they throws away. Yeah, really. Yeah, right, buddy. Maybe someday, but I doubt it. I think I'm a bit too old for it. We'll see. A bit too old to
Yeah,
catch up to Drake now. I don't have the Degrassi fame to start me off, and the money,
yeah.
the
There you
money
go.
to
Degrassi
start.
was the show
Yeah,
back then, man.
yeah. There's this great Drake story where apparently when he was starting off and rapping, quote unquote, he started from the bottom, right? He had this vehicle, his car. I can't remember what kind of car it was. People have to Google this to double check, but he had this car that was about 5K a month to for him to drive around in it, and that was starting from the bottom for him. And I'm like, bro, 5K a month for like, how many independent artists would die for 5K a month on their music, let alone for their
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
car they're driving
exactly. Yeah.
around. Like, come on, it's like, so it's silly. So I like, I got a lot of respect for Drake as a Canadian artist and stuff. But man, it's tough out here. The struggle is real, and hearing stuff like from the bottom when he was driving around in a 5K Bentley or whatever it was.
Yeah, there
Sorry,
you
man, I
go.
won't buy it. Gosh, must be nice, man. Must be nice. If only all the indie artists were able to get to that point, though, right? You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
where they could, afford that kind of thing, even if it's a sponsorship thing or whatever. You know what I mean? But so I
sure,
gotta
man.
get some sponsorship deals going. That's the real thing,
Yeah,
buddy.
that's
Let's
what you
go.
need. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
it would
Yeah,
be.
I'm hoping to look at getting some like publicist stuff soon. But that's expensive, and it's one of those things. It's like about, as an independent artist, one of the worries I talk about this a lot. One of the worries is you have so many people that are interested in taking your money, because they want to help you, or they also want to exploit your dream of becoming a known artist that can make a career off of it. The worry for somebody who has some money to spend and invest in their career is like, where do you put that money? Because
Hmm.
if I have $2,000 per se to put into my music over a couple months, do I make music videos with that? And if I do, how much money do I promote them with? Do I go get a publicist? Do I go get an agent? Do I go book a bunch of shows? What is the best way to spend that money, right? And that's the problem. The
Yeah,
truth is all of the above. But I heard this phrase actually at a music conference, a song conference I went to. They said, if you want to make $1 million in the music industry, start with 2 million. So there you go, right? So that just goes to show you the struggle of it. Yeah, that goes to show you how difficult it is, because that money can go everywhere and it can all disappear, and it might yield results. It'll yield some results for sure. You know what I mean? Money always talks, but you know what I mean? Who knows what the longevity of that is, or if it'll really, if
yeah,
that you'll get return on investment, right? That's the worry. So that's why we have to do it for the love of it. You can't be doing it expecting to get that 5K Bentley a month, right? You got to
yeah.
be doing it, just being willing to do it regardless of whether even a lot of other people are going to listen. You know what I mean? I'm sure other people will. You know what I mean? Most people that put out music, they have some listeners, um, but it's a grind, right? Like we were talking about with MMA, it's a grind doing that every single day in and out, right? You're working on that, project or whatever it is. So people only see the 1%.
You're gonna
They see you
start
on the
your
stage.
MMA career too, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why I like The Mountain, man. That song's like kind of like for MMA people. It's for anybody who's got like some kind of big struggle, some kind of like something they need to be motivated for, right? I wrote that song about. It's a song about motivation and about having doubts and about overcoming that stuff, right? So it's an important
Yeah.
message, I think, for a lot of people.
Sorry, you're not boring me. I'm just really tired, my friend.
That's all right. I'm trying. That's why I have the Red Bull. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
gotta have the. I start most of my podcasts with a shot of espresso actually, and a cold brew coffee or whatever, just to keep me really wired. But
So,
but tonight it's a bit later, so it's the Red Bull. Like I said, we got the Red Bull.
did you get a chance to check out my PSN mate there, Breezy Gifted?
Oh no, I haven't seen this. I have Xbox, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh, okay.
No, he does music as well. So when he
Oh,
get
okay. Oh, I'm sorry, your friend. No, sorry, my bad, my bad. I misheard you. I got you. Yeah, yes. No, I haven't checked out his music yet, but I will. I've had unfortunately at the same day you sent that to me, I had I think it was like three people hit me up with beat packs. So I had a bunch of instrumentals I had to listen to that night, so I didn't get around to it because I was trying to get those figured out first if I was gonna like use
oh
any
yeah,
of them or not.
no problem.
Unfortunately, I don't think I'm using any of them. I listened to a bunch of instrumentals. Listened to a bunch of instrumentals that night. And there's only a couple I vibed with, and not many that I really felt were like right for Braden V
Yeah,
music. If that makes sense. But I'll check your buddy out real soon. Yeah.
I told him about you as well. So
Sweet. Well, yeah. No, if I dig his stuff, maybe we'll do a project or something. I've got a couple of things in the works right now. I'm kind of in one of these weird stages where I've been setting up a bunch of stuff for August, and after that, a bunch of collabs and a bunch of songs that I've got written that are ready for recording and stuff. So it's just about getting to the studio and getting the chance to do that. You know what I mean? Money's a big part of it always. It's not that I can't afford the studio, but it's like I'm trying to do this music video. I've actually got two music videos, maybe three in the works technically. So it's just a lot going on in the shows, and I've got to travel soon. So there's just a lot going on right now where I've been like kind of putting off the recording. But we'll get there real soon because I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the things I want to do most. I also want to do some remixing. Like I want to hit up some producers locally and maybe nationally. I've actually already hit up one. Somebody's working on a remix for The Mountain, by the way, Nick. So shout out to that. I'm not sure when that'll happen. I'm not sure like if even it'll get released, but they did get me to send them the vocal stems for it so they could put I think they said a hard style dance beat underneath it and stuff they wanted to try. So so yeah, that might be cool. But I'd like to hit up some people locally here to do maybe like a remix of Good Life or some of maybe Ghost or something, one of my songs that maybe they like the lyrics on or the sound of or something, and get that remix. I really want some dance stuff, like stuff for dance clubs and stuff, because I do some DJing and it's always cool to have like dance kind of style sounds. Um, and it's also cool having like more upbeat stuff. I notice a lot of my music's a little bit down tempo and a little bit sad sometimes, sad boy rap I call it
yeah,
sometimes. And that's kind of a joke. I've got plenty of upbeat and up tempo songs, but I just kind of joke about that. And I think one of my next goals is like having some more danceable and fun music, rather than just the focus on sad stuff. I
yeah,
really want like Braden V music to be like a playlist of all different kinds of sounds and styles and genres. So for all moods, that's my idea, right? So I want some stuff that's
yeah.
fun and dancey and party stuff, and
I
and then
love
the
it.
sad stuff and meditative stuff. And we're trying to do it all out here. It's just a matter of time and money. And making the right connections, you know what I mean? Got to meet those people that
Yeah,
are willing to do it, because it's easy for me to be enthused. It's a lot harder to get a bunch of people to remix my music if they're not enthused about it, right? So
yeah.
one of those things. So we'll see. We'll see.
Oh yeah, for
Big
sure.
dreams, man. Big dreams out here. We're
Big green,
working.
living big
Yeah,
green.
we're working.
We're working.
Yeah, I actually did secure a couple features for my shout out to the people who hit me up on Instagram when I put out a message about it. Got some people lined up for features for my album too, so that'll help finish my album up, which is cool because I didn't want my album to be like just about me. I wanted my album to feature a lot of the local sounds. So it's cool that some people hit me up. I'll get some songs demos sent to them, and we'll work on some stuff by the end of the summer.
Sure.
So that should be cool. That should finish my record. So which I've been putting off for a year. So we'll get there. Better late than never though. Like there's no point rushing out an album, right? You
No,
know what I mean? Especially the first one. May
no,
as well do it
God,
right.
no.
Yeah. So we'll do it the right way
Is
because
there
that's the way we
anything
do it.
else you can chat about, sir?
No, man. I mean, we can wrap it up. Probably about time. What time is it, anyways? At 9. I probably got to get out of here. Yeah, look at that, 9 on the dot. You know what? Let's
Oh
roll it
wow.
out here, buddy.
Ah,
There we go. Look at the timing. There we go. Short and sweet. So yeah, let's get out of here. Jason Plains podcast 10 or 11. I can't remember what episode we are, man. I've done too many of these podcasts already. I don't know why I number them anyway. But anyways, thanks for joining. We'll have you on again sometime soon. I owe you on your podcast a visit. How about that?
yeah.
We'll be we'll trade. All
Trade.
right,
There
man.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So keep in touch. I'll let you know, or let me know about August 6th if you can make it out, man. That'd be dope. If not, no worries. Maybe Nimrod's on the 14th. But you'll
Yeah,
probably be pretty busy by then, I have the feeling, so maybe not.
yeah, yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will
we'll
be.
see. Yeah, we'll see. So shout outs to you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, see you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's Nick MacKinnon. Make sure you tune into his podcast, The Podcast with Nick and Dylan on YouTube.